Welcome, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, event professionals across the United States of America, Canada, New Mexico, Mexico, and Brazil, and anywhere else that you can find yourself. Obrigado, if you speak that language. Bienvenidos, bienvenue, and a welcome to you, too. We are sitting down today with the multi-talented DJ, newscaster, MC, entertainer, Steve Gregory. So nice to have you join us today, Steve. Yeah, right.
I was looking for him there. Thanks. It's good to be here, Scott. Good to see you.
Well, thank you very much. You had asked me about Bar Bat Mitzvahs.
Right.
So repeat after me. Oy vey.
Oy vey. Oy vey.
Perfect. Now you are officially Jewish.
Gotcha.
Being Jewish is not a requirement. It's not a requisite for doing Bar Bat Mitzvahs, but having some lingo can be really helpful. Now, where are you from, Steve?
I'm a West Virginia native, but I'm in Harrisonburg, Virginia now.
Okay, excellent. Do they have any languages that are predominant in that area? You know, for example, if you were down in Texas, you know, you'd get a lot of Tex-Mex, or if you were in Quebec, you'd get Canadian French. Anything going on there in West Virginia?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, in Harrisonburg, it's a refugee city. There are 77 different languages spoken in our high schools.
Look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of Kurdish population, and of course, Spanish and whatnot.
Kurds. Okay, excellent. It would be to your best interest to learn how to say hello, welcome, bon appetit, which is French for enjoy your meal, and anything else that you can grab, including thank you, in those 70 plus dialects. It's a very, very powerful way to ingratiate yourself to your audience. And the same is true when you're doing Bar Bat Mitzvahs. And I don't know how much you are up on the lingo, so I'm going to give you a couple of quickies just so that we have, you know, a primer to start with. Bar mitzvahs, boys. Bat mitzvahs, girls. B'nai mitzvahs.
Spell that.
Oh, see, now you're going to ask me to spell.
Okay, never mind.
No. I can. You just got to give me a second because I have a cheat sheet for this. Let me go just.
N-A-I.
You're close. You're really close. I'm just seconds away from clicking on it. Here we are. It's a B, and then it's an upper apostrophe, like as if you were doing a possessive thing. So capital B apostrophe, and then lowercase N-A-I, which is B'nai mitzvah, which refers to twins.
Huh?
Twins, twins.
Gotcha,
right?
Gotcha.
Okay, and then B'no mitzvah, spelled with a capital B, the apostrophe, and then N-O-T, B'no mitzvah, is also for twins. Here's where I give you my confession. One is for two boys or two girls, and the other one is for a boy and a girl, but I can't remember which one's which. But you'll never go wrong just saying bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. But sometimes you'll have twins that are a boy and a girl, and you'll need to know the b'nai b'no situation. Okay. There are other words to know, and we'll go through this as we go through the process. But my question is, have you ever done a mitzvah before?
I have.
Good.
I have done perhaps 5 in my career since the 80s, but I have not done one since 2001. In fact, I drove to Manhattan from West Virginia, drove to Manhattan to play a bar mitzvah there the Thanksgiving after September 11th. That's the last one I've done.
So it's been a little while, shall we say?
Yeah.
All
my
right.
problem is relating to 13-year-olds anymore.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, but we're going to go through this process, and I think that you're going to discover that that is only sometimes true. So the first thing that I want to do for you is, because I'm the guy that likes to give, I'm going to give you something. Now, I know that you're on your phone. I'll send you a copy of what I just put in the chat, so you don't have to worry about downloading it or whatever, but I put it in the chat so I would remember. That is what I refer to as my BART planner. See, BART standing for Bar Mitzvah or Bat Mitzvah. So it's a catch, B-A-R-T. Has nothing to do with Bart Simpson. And I'm going to put that on the screen for a moment so that we can walk through some of this. And I'm not going to belabor too much of it because you may already know these things. But whenever I'm meeting with a family, whether they've hired us or they're considering us, I always want to know in advance, are they youth focused, which makes you think, I need to know how to relate to kids, or are they adult focused? And that typically means that they may have 50, 60 adults and maybe only 10 or 15 kids. See, so it's more of an adult focused party. If it's 50-50, where you've got 100 adults and 100 kids, or maybe 50, 60 adults and 50, 40, 50 kids, you got this balancing going on. And each of these three options, adult focused, youth focused, or mixed, each requires a deft touch by you as the entertainer, because it's not one size fits all, if you will.
Yeah.
A perfect example, if it's youth focused, well, man, you are playing the kids' music, you're playing the kids' games, and you're doing anything and everything you can to relate to the kids. And the adults, well, they're chaperones. And as long as you don't play it too loud, then they're not going to be screaming, I got to get out of the room. But that's something to keep in mind. It is like the absolute number one complaint that I get regularly from families is that the DJ played the music too loud.
Gotcha.
Loud music does not make better. Yeah. It only makes it louder. All right. So, okay. So keep that in mind as to who your audience is based on, what the numbers are in terms of people. Okay. When it's youth focused, think middle school dance. That's where they're at. And they are really right on the cusp of losing it. And I will explain. Young people, elementary school age, and right up to about 12, 13, which is where we're at Bar Bat Mitzvahs, they're still in game mode for the most part. They like to play, they want to have fun, and you can be the Pied Piper, and they will follow you as the leader. But then all of a sudden, 15, 16, they fall off the cliff, and they think as teenagers that they need to be more like adults, and adults don't play games. We're going to be adults. Little do they know that come time that turns around, by their time they're 25, 26, they're ready to play games again. So, and this coming from the game master. So trust me, I know this.
Right.
But there is that small section of time where they are too cool to be schooled. All right.
Gotcha.
And this rules the day. Look up. Okay.
Right.
Because this is where they're at. They got their heads on their phones, and I don't know what your setup is like, but anything and everything that you can do that can embrace this phone as part of the game, part of the play, part of your interaction is going to make you more effective. Now, notice that I have lots of caveats here. And here comes one. It's all about maturity. I've done bar mitzvahs where the young man is 12 going on 20.
Yeah.
And I've done bar mitzvahs where he's 12 and he's still acting like he's 8. He's not quite sucking on his thumb, but he just wants to play games and throw the candy around and tear the room apart and all this other stuff that, little kids do.
Right.
So you're never going to know until you meet with them. And whether you're meeting with them on Zoom or whether you're meeting with them in person, you got to be able to get some sense of what is the maturity level, because that is how you're going to know, will it play in Peoria? Will it play in Williamsburg? Or is it going to flop in Fullerton? You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen for just a moment, and I'm going to walk you through this thing that I refer to as my bar mitzvah planner. And again, I'll send you a copy of it. And forgive me that my head's on a swivel because it's on another screen. So it's not like I'm not here with you. So do you see this? You see this Word document here?
Yes.
Okay. So it says right off at the top, Bar Bat Mitzvah events, and it's specially prepared for, and by the way, I give this to the family, and instead of it saying mitzvah, it's got the young person's name in there. And instead of bar, if it's a bat mitzvah, then it specifically says bat or b'nai or b'no or whatever it is, and then the date of their event. So it's really prepared for them. Truth is, just the computer, spit their names into the right spots. But it's very, very powerful. You put this in a book and you hand this to them, and they go, "Oh, for me?" Right? And don't give it to mom and dad. Give it to the bar mitzvah person.
Right.
It's going to go to mom and dad anyway. But that you give it to the bar mitzvah person makes them feel really special. It builds your bond and connection with them. Okay, so the first page here is a suggested order of events. Now, again, there are always caveats. There's always changes. There's always exceptions to the rule. So don't say, well, Scott said you got to do this first and then you got to do that second. It's not like that, because it just like weddings. Listen, you and I are old school. I remember you did this first and then you did this second, and you definitely did not do that before whatever. So it's not that way anymore.
Yeah.
Listen, my good friend Mike Walter has been preaching for the last maybe 12, 15 months about getting audiences to dance before dinner. What are you talking about? Dancing before dinner? That's sacrilege. Monsieur, don't do that. Well, listen, I got news for you. You better be prepared, because when you start doing Jewish events, they have been dancing before dinner long before Mike Walter said, let's, do the wedding and dance before dinner. This is something you need to be prepared for. When I talk about, and I'm jumping ahead in the timeline, but when we talk about what is the tone when the audience enters, you need to know what they're looking for. Is it what I call a not so Jewish event, which means, you're playing some background music. They come in, they find their seats. Well, it's just like a regular birthday party or a regular event. Or is it truly a Jewish event? Man, the music's pumping and we're dancing and we're having a party and everybody come on in and the lights are going and we'll figure out when we're going to eat later. And it's like that. So be prepared. Okay. Yeah. So the ceremony, are you doing anything about this? And by the way, they don't call it ceremony, but I put the word ceremony there because it helps those people that are not Jewish think, oh, right, the ceremony. But the truth is they refer to it as the services. Okay. Gotcha. So when and if you reference it, don't say ceremony, say services. That's the word that they use. Okay. Are you doing anything for the service?
No, it will be held earlier in the day in another town.
Okay. Very good. Another day in another town.
Earlier in the day.
Do you plan on doing these more often?
Yeah, but absolutely. I know I've heard you say times and times again that once you get into that community, you've got work forever. So.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you something that I do. I'm going to tell you a lot of things that I do. But one of the things that I like to do for the service, even though I'm not providing microphones or music or anything like that, I will go to the temple with my trusty little iPhone, which is a camera, right? And I'll snap pictures of the family and the guests as they're arriving at the temple. And then when they arrive for the reception, I'll have on the big screen pictures of the guests. Gotcha. Most often the temple, some churches, they say you can't take pictures during the ceremony, but it's rare. Most churches will let you take pictures during the ceremony, but temples are steadfast. 99% of them say no pictures during the service.
Gotcha.
So they actually do a dress sheet rehearsal. So if the event is on Saturday, the Thursday or the Wednesday before, they're going to meet at the temple, all dressed up in the same outfit that they're going to wear on Saturday, and they will pose for the professional photographer pictures. Okay. Now, if that photographer will share pictures with you.
Mhm.
Cool. But most of the time they don't. So I show up at the temple on this dress rehearsal day, and I will again snap pictures of the young man or the young lady and the parents on the bima. There's another word for you. Whatever, I don't know what they call it at church. In temple, it's called a bima, which is the front, where they have the podium, where they have the Bible, and they don't call it a Bible, they call it a Torah, and all of this. Okay. So, and they get to open the doors for the Torah, and he gets to take it out of the ark, and he gets to carry it. And some of these pictures, which have nothing to do with audience, right? So you don't have to worry about empty chairs because you're shooting forward. And so it looks like, and here's the real trick, because you have pictures of the rehearsal and they're in that dress or that suit. When you show those pictures on the day of the event, they'll think, how did he get pictures of the event? And then you intersperse those pictures with the candids of people as they were arriving. And I'm telling you, in their mind, they put them all together and think, well, he must have done, I don't know, but there he is. There you got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the service. That's my tip for that moment. I have more. Okay. Cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. If they're in the room, then you have to figure out the child, adult, youth focus here. 30 minutes, you can probably, you can fudge it and you'll be okay. Play some music, you'll be fine. But if they want an hour of cocktails, those young people have to have something to do, even if there's only a few of them. Even if it's adult focused and you've got 10, 15 kids, you have to have something for them to do. It might be a photo booth, but that's only going to last a few minutes and then they're going to be distracted. So whether it's games or activities or some other service that keeps them occupied, and by the way, don't laugh at me, moon bounce.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them get all sweaty and dirty and all that stuff. But the bottom line is you got to have something that keeps them occupied, because the expression that they were in the hallway crossing the valet parking section and about to get run over and going up and down in the elevator, all of those things are true. Okay. I'm not exaggerating. Okay. Again, the maturity level, right? Okay.
Right.
Quick sidebar. Bat mitzvahs, way easier. They're girls. They're more mature. They like to dance more, and they're less rambunctious than a bunch of 12-year-old boys. I'm moving on. So again, cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, guests in the room. Again, this relates to, are they having it in the foyer or are they in the main room? Most often, if it's a formal event, they're going to be in the foyer because they want the doors to open to the room and this sense of, wow, look at the decoration and the lights and the music and the DJ and all the stuff going on. You got it. All right. When the guests come in, it is not uncommon for the DJ to get on the microphone at a wedding and say, ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats. We're about to begin. We'd like to introduce to you the Forget it. Forget it. Don't even think for a minute that you're going to get these people to sit down. They are not going to sit down. If they want to sit down, then they damn well will, because they want to. But you asking them to sit down is a waste of time. They are social, they're loud, they're boisterous, they're interactive, they're energetic. They are all of these things, and they are not paying attention to somebody asking them to sit down. So don't count on it. Okay. Best thing you can do is to have something that gets the room's attention. Okay. And there are a variety of different things that you can do that can get the audience's attention without screaming on the microphone. I'm talking, you people, shut up and listen to me. Sorry. Only because we've seen this from bad DJs do we know these things. But something as simple as can get their attention. And if you do that 2 or 3 times, then all of a sudden you're inviting you're in the center of the dance floor, right? You don't even say anything. You're just doing this clap routine. And it doesn't have to be that one. It could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then slowly, progressively getting faster, 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 and then maybe slow it down, and then speed it back up, and all of a sudden everybody's following you, and you haven't even said a word, but you have their attention. And once you have their attention, you can now bring them in. Okay, see what I'm saying? Okay. A really, really cool trick that I do that is a 100% works every time. Hey, everybody, happy to see you here, whether they're paying attention to you or not. Just assume they are. Hey, everybody, happy to see you here. We're all excited to celebrate with the family. Everybody look to the person on your right and say hello. And then all of a sudden there's this murmur, hello. Okay. And then now look to the person on your left and say, shh. And they do. And the whole room goes quiet. And that, I'm going to tell you, is one of my best secrets for quieting the room. Doesn't always work with Jewish people, which I'm warning you now, but it's a good trick. Okay, introductions. It can be mom and dad and aunt and uncle and mother and brother and sister, and then the main event. And by the way, I have a list for you down here on this thing here. Here's the introduction list. I'm jumping ahead so you can see it. So grandparents, because two sides, his side, her side. Okay, parents. Sometimes there's two sets of parents, right? Aunts,
Right.
uncles, brothers, sisters. Mitzvah. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, these people all walk in, but the mitzvah, it has to be, well, it doesn't have to be, but most of the time it's the show. It is a big moment. I can tell you, even Johnny, who said he just wanted me to announce his name and he was just going to walk in and stand on the dance floor. That's what he told me. And I said, okay. And on the day of the event, he came into the room with the doors bursting open and he slid across the dance floor on his two knees and he had his hands in the air and he said, here I am. And I thought, wow, where did that come from? You just never know. Okay. I had a mitzvah planned with this really, really elaborate choreographed props and dancing and people all involved with Mardi Gras beads and tossing and all this stuff going on. And you know what? Dad came over to me and said, we're not doing that. On the day of the event, after we'd already planned this whole thing out, he said, we're not doing that. I have two Laker girls, scantily clad, one on the left, one on the right. He's in the middle, and you bring them into the Lakers song. And I said, okay. That's all the boy remembered. Everything else was a blur. He remembered that. As a matter of fact, when I did his wedding, he was still talking about those two Laker girls. Okay. I didn't tell his wife that, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
So, but it has to be something more than just here's Rachel or here's Bobby. It has to be a lot of fanfare, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. And there are things that you can do when you ask questions of your young person. Do they play an instrument? Do they play a sport? Do they sing a song? Are they involved in some karate, extracurricular activities? Sometimes there's a project that they have to do as part of their Bar Bat Mitzvah. And that project will lead you to an idea. So he's 4-H and he's coming in with pigs, or he's coming in with a goat, or maybe he's got chickens and he's throwing eggs. Don't let me scare you. But there's something going on that is related to the project or some sports or music or something that he's involved in, or her, and that you want to tie into. Next page, look at that, I'm noteworthy, into the introduction. You may also think about what I refer to as the carry-in introduction. It's actually one of the most popular options that we offer. Doors open. We've already brought in the family. Doors open, and Johnny steps 3 steps into the room. He's been announced. Here he is, right? And then this big guy from the left and this big guy from the right come in from the wings, and they pick him up so that his butt is on the shoulder, right? And they're holding him up. and he's in the middle, and they carry him into the room. It's a big wow. Everybody loves it. And the two guys that have lifted him are instructed to take him to the dance floor and walk him around while they're still lifting him, and then gently, drop him on his head. I mean, let him down. Okay, so fun stuff for the introduction. Find out what matches. He's bouncing a ball. He's doing some soccer thing with a soccer ball. I don't know what it is, but or he's playing a guitar. Oh my God. If you have one of those 1/4-inch jack wireless connections that lets them play their instrument wirelessly, and they're playing that as they're coming into the room, another big wow. Okay. So all kinds of things you can do. Hora. When the family comes in, don't have them go to their tables. Don't have them go to the head table. Don't have them go to wherever their assigned seating is. Have all that family, mom, dad, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, the whole entourage. They are standing on the dance floor in a horseshoe kind of fashion. And when Johnny comes in, he's in the middle of this moment. And what you have done is you have preloaded, front-loaded the Hora dance. It's the thing that follows. When I say always, I hate to use that word, but I'm telling you, 99.99% always, the Hora is right after the introduction. If they say that they want to do the Hora after dinner, then you know that it's not a very Jewish event. It's less Jewish. If they say, well, we're really concerned about our friends. I mean, we're Jewish, but there's going to be a lot of people that are not Jewish there. Repeat after me. On Johnny's bar mitzvah day, everybody's is Jewish.
Gotcha.
Thank you. And by the way, the same is true for Italian or Filipino. If anytime you're doing any kind of an ethnic event, okay, everybody is that on this day. Okay, the Hora. Find out about the chair. Is it just Johnny in the chair, or is it Johnny and then his sister? Is it Johnny and then his brother? Are mom and dad going up? And if you get into mom and dad, then you need to find out, is it one chair or is it two? Okay. I mean, they probably did the 2-chair thing when they got married, but they may want to relive that experience, or maybe they don't want to relive it because she fell. You never know. And by the way, it's just us talking. Don't assume because she's this size or he's this size that it's a no to get in the chair. I've seen big people want to be lifted. Gotcha. I'll leave it at that. Okay. And here, shocker, number 6 on this list, more dancing. Don't assume that you're doing the introduction of the Hora and now you're going to have dinner, because sometimes there's actually more dancing planned. Jewish people like not to eat and then dance. That's non-Jewish. Jewish people like to eat and dance and dance and eat and eat and eat and dance all at the same time. Okay. So again, thinking that they're going to sit down all at once, don't count on it. It drives your caterer nuts. You're not going to be popular with the caterer, and you need to be prepared for that. Okay. Because I've had caterers come over to me and say, these people need to sit down. We're serving dinner. And I look at her and say, they're Jewish. Serve dinner. When they're ready, they'll know it's there. You're laughing. I appreciate that. Okay. Motzi. This refers to the bread that they break and the prayer that they say over the bread. And this happens usually with the bar mitzvah person and mom, dad, or grandma, grandpa, something of that grouping. They may do an additional blessing over the wine. Now, if you want to be a real rock star, Steve, and I know you are, you cannot remind them enough times to bring the bread. I'm telling you, you could call them the morning of the mitzvah and remind them to bring the bread. Because I can't tell you how many times we have broke bread with a hot dog bun or a French roll because the bread never showed up, or because they left it on the table or whatever. Just bring the bread. Okay. And this is really powerful here. Number 8, a welcome toast. It's not to be confused with traditional, I want to toast to the bride and groom kind of thing. This is the family's moment to say thank you. Now, during the service earlier in the morning, they've already said something to the audience. But if you have 10 people at the service and 150 people at the party, then you know that not everybody was at the service, and that's a really good reason to do this. But be prepared that sometimes they'll say, I don't need that because we already said something. But other times when not everybody's at the service, or maybe they'll turn around and say, Aunt Grace, showed up late, or she couldn't make the service. She's now here at the party and I want to say something. This is a special moment.
Okay.
Did I say I was going to make you a rock star, Steve?
You said that.
Well, here we go. This is another rock star moment.
Okay.
Kids eat, they're done. That's it. They're done. I mean, not even 2 bites sometimes, not even a bite. There's too much distraction with the lights and the music and the people and and everything going on. They're distracted. So they may or may not eat. But even if they do eat, it is going to be the briefest of brief moments. So it's really important that you stagger the meal times between the adults and the kids. And what that means is you're going to play some kind of game or activity, something with the kids, while the adults get their salad, their entree, whatever that thing is. Okay. Even if the adults are doing a buffet, let the catering staff or somebody else invite the adults. I know as DJs, we like to invite people to the buffet, but in this case, your obligation is the young people and the bar mitzvah. So your focus is to play with them, keep them engaged, and then let the parents enjoy. And if you do this right, then the game that you play or the activity that you do with the kids is actually going to be entertainment worthy for the adults. So if they're sitting down having their salad, they're going to be watching this. So the trick is to do something that doesn't have the music playing too loud or that you're screaming too much, but just that it looks like frolic and fun.
Right.
Okay. And I'll give you some of those game ideas in a moment. Okay. So dinner for the adults at the same time that you're playing games with the mitzvah and their friends. Okay. Somebody else is inviting or managing the service process. And then you're going to invite, and I keep saying Bobby or Johnny because those are, catch-all names. But when you invite Bobby to the buffet, what you do is you stop the game. Everybody single file right behind Bobby. He's your leader. And wherever he goes, you go. And however he goes, you go. This is the official conga line to Bobby's buffet line. Boom, off they're running. You play conga or hot, 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 or some, I don't know if you want to play Pitbull, but you get the idea. Play something that is of a Latin rhythm, conga line kind of a thing, and let Bobby know that he's not just to go straight to the buffet line, but that he should snake around and go around and curving up and down, maybe jump, and everybody has to jump and get down, low or whatever, but have some fun with it. And then he gets to the buffet. Cool. As soon as those kids are in the buffet, you're going to switch modes. And now you're going into, and I'm making an age assumption here, but be careful, okay? Because you got to know your client. But typically it would be Frank Sinatra. It would be some lounge sound kind of thing that tones the room down a little bit. And then all of a sudden, mom and dad or grandparents are going to say, I'm done with my salad and I haven't had entree yet. It's not here. We're going to go dance. And that you can get maybe 2 or 3 songs. And again, the caterer is going to scream at you. Well, you'll get these people to sit down. You got to deal with it. But they will love you because, and by the way, I say Frank Sinatra lounge sound, but obviously if they're younger, right, then you've got to hit, maybe some 80s tunes or, because again, I'm showing my age. The 80s It's 40 years ago. And if you've
Yeah.
got somebody that's 13 years old, you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
In the old days, it was, oh, you play big band. Nobody's dancing to big band, baby. And they only know Frank Sinatra because Michael Bublé and those guys brought it, back into style. But other than
Right.
that, they wouldn't know. Okay. But something that appeals to that audience, that age group, that's who you want to appeal. And then the adults will get up, they'll do a little dance thing, and then the entree comes. And no sooner than you play 2-3 songs, kids are done. And you need to be ready to engage them again. Okay. Or if there's going to be a candle lighting, then we can talk about, is there going to be a candle lighting?
Yes, as I understand it. Yeah.
Okay, hold that thought and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, so dinner for the kids, games and dancing, video montage. Are they doing a video montage?
I have not discussed that yet.
Okay, see, here's why I like to bring my big video screen to all of my events, because now I can play their montage. Whether I've created it or somebody else has created it, I know that it's going to be professionally played, not on some little flat screen TV that nobody can see, right?
Yeah.
But it's on a big screen that everybody can see, including grandma in the back of the room, and it's running through your sound system. So it's not like it's this little itty bitty speaker that's Bluetooth that they've set next to their laptop, and everybody goes, but I can't hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I do the screen. Okay. Video montage. Enough said. We're moving on. Candle lighting. Just like I had a section for introductions. Here's the introduction set, right? I have another set here for the candle lighting. It looks very similar to the introduction set with some changes. There's a memory candle, grandparents on two sides, aunts and uncles, rabbi, teachers, okay, cousins, families, others, and then whatever the mitzvah's friends are, and then maybe some siblings, and then mom and dad. You got to be careful about mom and dad if they happen to be divorced or separated, or if they've got two sets of moms and two sets of dads or whatever. Just be sensitive to whatever those particulars are, and don't let this list make them think that you haven't thought of that. Okay.
Right.
All
Gotcha.
right. But what
so
I
this
can
list can be longer. It doesn't have to be just 13. I mean, it's 13 years old, so I assume that's why there's 13 candles.
Okay.
Okay.
Such a really, really good question. I have done candle lighting with one candle, and I've done candle lighting with 20 candles. But I will tell you, unless you want a big drag on the party, 13 is more than enough. And here's what's going on. Each candle is going to take a minimum of 1 minute, but most likely 2+ minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what happens. Johnny, or whatever his name is, he says, yada, 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 I love you. Come up and light candle number 2. Now, it's not always rhythmic like that. It doesn't always rhyme. It's not always Dr. Seuss-esque. Sometimes it's just a little story. Or if they're really not prepared, they'll say, Grandma, I love you. Come up and light candle number 1. Grandpa, I love you. Come up and light candle number 2. It's like, oh my God, did you not prepare for this? Okay, but it happens. But even if it's
you let the mitzvah actually introduce them?
Yes.
Okay, great, great.
Although I've had parents think that they're supposed to do it, and it's the whole point of this moment is to get the young person to say something special. Now, here's again, I'm recording this so you can steal this.
Okay.
I have a thing that I like to say when I quiet the room before the candles. Okay. We all think that Steve is absolutely incredible, amazing, spectacular, and so loved by each and every one of us. And as great as we think Steve is, we recognize in this moment that he had some help to achieve this, his bar mitzvah. And this moment of lighting candles is Steve's opportunity to say thank you to those people who helped him along the way. It quiets the room. It gets their attention. It's a nice little story. And best of all, it puts him in the it lets them know what this moment is about. Okay. It's not about lighting the candle. It's about
Yeah.
him actually saying thank you to some people in his life. Now, if they say, but I got 20 candles, start bundling. Okay. Put both sides of aunts and uncles together. You got some people from New York and some from Virginia and some from Florida. You know, find some way to combine the group and then let them just, you know, again, bundle it up so that you can get to a nice, easy, manageable number. Because at 13 candles at 2 minutes apiece, you got 26
Yeah.
minutes, which is
Yeah.
30. Okay. Because here's what happens. He says his thing, then the people come up. Well, are they fast or are they slow? Depending on how old they are or how big the group is and were they paying attention to them. All this stuff is going on. But then they come up, and when they come up to light the candle, now this is a photo op. You have the photographer there, and he gets them all grouped up together, and he snaps a picture. And that's why it takes 2 minutes.
Oh.
The song that you play, ideally they should pick the songs. Okay. But you don't want to play the song from beginning. You want to play the song from the chorus. All right. So in other words, if they wanted Celebration by Kool and the Gang, which is definitely old school, but don't be starting that from the drum beat in the beginning and waiting for them to get to the, you know, celebrate. Come on. Right from the beginning. Woohoo! Celebrate good times. Come on. I mean, right from there. Girls just want to have fun. Definitely not from the beginning. Right from the chorus. Girls, they want to have fun. And if you can, if you're fancy, put it on a loop and then just let that chorus loop, loop, loop until the moment is done. And then you fade and then you go to the next. Okay. So a little bit of background for what's going on for you. And you should be prepared to have this thing loop as long as required, because the photographer may be fast, the photographer may be slow. The photographer may get the group, take the picture, and then all of a sudden, here comes Joe. He was at the bar, and he's part of this group, and now you got to do the picture thing all over again. Okay, so just be prepared that it could be as long or as short, and you need to have your cues all set and ready to go. Okay.
Got it.
Any questions about candles?
No.
Okay, then let me muddy the water some more.
Okay.
If they're thinking about candle lighting, let them know that you're the creative guy, Steve.
Okay.
That it does not have to be candles. It can be balls, trophies, plaques, flowers. I mean, just a whole myriad of other things, depending on what his theme is, what he's into. Listen, you know, we just had a couple of weeks to Tony's, right?
Yeah.
Before that, we had the Oscars.
Right.
Why can't we have the Steves?
Got it.
Ooh, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun can be had with it. It doesn't have to be wrapped in, and you could do a whole sports theme if you want. That's like the MVP, or you can run things on the supporting actor, supporting actress, best actor, best actress, and then a producer and director and yada yada yada. You get. Okay. So, and then you're giving away these little trophies, and they've got you know, his name and the bar mitzvah year and all that stuff on it. Just, it makes for a more creative experience. Mm-hmm. Okay. We talked earlier about mom and dad saying, welcome, thank you for being here. But sometimes during the candles, that's when mom and dad want to say something, because they're the last to come up. And so they'll want to say, we're so proud of you. You've done such a marvelous job, and I can't believe that you crashed the car. Whatever it is, okay? Yeah. And they may say that they don't want to do a welcome toast, that they want to do it at the candles, and you need to be prepared and say, that's a great idea.
Right.
Okay. But mom and dad are not the only ones. And so when you're talking about the candle thing, you need to ask them in advance, while the temperature is medium and temperature is not hot from the day of the event, because Aunt Grace or Grandma so-and-so or some long lost cousin is going to come up to you, the DJ, and say, when he calls my candle, I want to say something as well. This is not that person's show. This is the bar mitzvah person's show. On the other hand, the family might say, no, we got this planned out. He's going to be giving him keys to the car. Well, we got time for that, don't we? So
Sure.
just, you got to measure it and find
Right.
out where their comfort level is as to what they want to do or not want to do, and then be prepared for it. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, back to candles. Fun thing to do. Here's my microphone prop. And you probably can't see that because it's white. Okay, I'll use, I'm looking for something that's a prop that you can see. My microphone, right?
Okay.
So I'm the young man, and I say, yada, yada, yada. Me and you come up and light candle number 2. Drop.
Yeah.
Noise. Boom, clunger, bang, right? Mic drop, all that crap. Okay, so instead, you have what's called a candle person. Find out who is his best friend, his amigo in crime. All right. And that person becomes the candle person. So what they do is the candle person is holding the lit candle. That's if they're not using one of those fire guns, right?
Yeah.
And they're off camera. They're off to the side, holding the candle, quietly waiting. And when Joey finishes with his yada, 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 that person walks over and takes the microphone and hands him the candle. So now he's not having to juggle between the candle and the microphone and his notes and all that stuff. Oh, and by the way, speaking of notes, if Johnny says he doesn't have notes, you're in for a train wreck. Johnny I'm just telling you, he's got to have notes. First of all, if he doesn't have notes, how are you going to guarantee that your list of songs is in the same order that he's going to be blurbing off the top of his head? And instead, he's going to be saying grandma, and then his sister, and then his brother, and then his friend, and then his cousin. And you're going to be going, wait, but that's number 3, and that's song number 9. And it's like, you'll be all over the map. He's got to have notes. Okay. Then the candle holder, who swapped the mic for the candle. Now Johnny has the candle and the group is all around him. They take the picture, lots of smiles. Okay. And then that moment's over. The people start to go away. Candle person comes back, hands Johnny the mic and takes the candle so he doesn't burn the house down, and walks off camera. Now, this candle person is his, best bud or girl. Right. You never know these days. But whoever that person is, when Johnny invites all of his friends, obviously that includes the candle holder. So obviously the candle holder gets to stay. Okay. And so just let Johnny know that his friend who gets this job is still going to be included when it comes time for that candle. Okay. Dance. Sometimes they dance with their parents. Sometimes they don't. But if you get a strong indication that mom wants to dance with her young man, and the young man is absolutely not interested, no way, no how, not me, forget it, ask him. So no dance, I got you. But how about a mother-son moment? And then he goes, well, what's that? Well, it's just an opportunity for us to share a little story about you and mom and let her say thank you to you. And if you can get him to agree to that, then that will lead to a dance, because I'm telling you, it works every time. I have this, and I'll put it in the show notes, and I'll send you a link. It's a mother-son set of questions that mom fills out that the young man doesn't know. Okay. And these questions are specifically designed to do this, to make everybody in the house cry. What do you like best about your young man? Your favorite trip? What do you look forward to? All that stuff. And then what you do is you share a story. And this thing is written so that all you have to do is go chronologically down the list of questions that she's answered, and you can then create a story with that. Was she at the hospital the day he was born? Well, of course she would be nowhere else on the day Johnny was here to arrive in this world. And then fill in the date, the day that he was born, right? Okay. And then it goes on. And she's been there for every birthday and special occasion. She's looking forward to grandkids. Well, let's not rush it. Okay. She was brave enough to teach him how to ride a bike, but dad's going to get to teach him how to drive the car. So again, all these questions, just they're yes or no questions. Right. You embellish this whole thing. By the way, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Gotcha.
Okay. Again, I'll send you the list of questions. Very powerful, very fun moment. And then at the end of this little story, and they're there eating it all up, right? Maybe you've got pictures of them that have been specially selected for this moment that are on the screen that have not been seen before. It's a big tearjerker moment. And then you say, as the music is playing in the background, and best of all, Johnny, Mom hopes you dance. And that's the song that's playing in the background. And it comes up and she's singing, I hope you dance. And sure enough, I'm telling you, that young man is going to take his mom's hand and they're going to end up dancing for, if nothing more than the briefest of moments, but it's a good photo op and you're golden, baby. Okay. Sweet. Now, if you want to get really fancy, interview mom. And instead of you telling the story, you got the pictures on the screen and her voiceover comes over and she tells you the answers to those questions and how she feels about Johnny. And that is pretty magical. I have a couple of video samples. I'll share some links with you so that you can get some ideas. Your event is in September. So as I said, you've got time. You can make this happen. Yeah. But I've got this one where this mom, she did it in Spanish and in English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was, and because they were Sephardic Jews from Spain, it was just extraordinarily powerful because they had people who spoke both languages, and the son spoke, again, you get the idea. Fun stuff. Now, speaking of links, I also want to share with you Johnny's top 10. We haven't gotten into the games yet, but I'm going to tell you, Johnny's top 10 puts Johnny front and center for the fun and games. This is it's just a form. You can copy it and do what you want with it, whether you print it out or whether you create one on your website. That's fine. I don't mind. I'm happy to share. But it's more than 10 questions, even though I call it the top 10. But it's what is his favorite food, his favorite song, his favorite actor, favorite model, favorite school, teacher, pet? Do you play an instrument? All kinds of stuff. What are the names of your brothers and sisters? What schools did you graduate from? Yada, yada, yada. What year? Mascots, all kinds of stuff. Now, they don't have to answer all of them because it doesn't all apply to each of them. But you'll come up with a good set of trivia questions that you can now ask the audience. How well do you know Johnny? Right? And what's Johnny's favorite food? And everybody's going, ice cream. And then Johnny says, no, it's pizza. See? Now, and you're working with Johnny. So it's tag team thing, a lot of fun. Okay. Be prepared that they will have the cake the size of Virginia. I'm not exaggerating. The cake, you got 20 people in the room. The cake is going to be the size of Virginia. It's going to feed everyone in Virginia that day. It's huge. And yet the moment is not. With the bride and groom, it's a big deal. For Bar Bat Mitzvahs, they may not even cut this cake. It's really just for show. If they want to have a moment to cut the cake, great. But don't count on it. Also, singing. If it's a birthday party, you think you're going to sing happy birthday, but not usually. When their Bar Bat Mitzvah happens is not always connected to their actual birth date. More pages, more noteworthy. Wow, I'm killing it here. Okay, and then they may have later in the reception an additional dessert buffet. Okay, some extra candy, ice cream buffet, sundae buffet thing going on. It's a sugar boost. Take advantage of it. It sugars up the kids, just what you don't need, and makes everybody happy. And by the way, if you have a buffet for the kids and the adults are being plated, don't be surprised if the adults are snagging off the buffet. They love those chicken fingers, and there's nothing else I can say. That's the way it goes. Okay, so down here we've got the client, mitzvah, who it's for, the date of the event, the location, the timing. Here we go. Guess, how many kids, okay? And what is their theme? All right, moving along, other services, photographer, videographer, coordinator. This is obviously the short list, you know, photo booth and a gazillion other things, okay? Introductions, we talked about. Candle lighting, we talked about. Oh, at the end of the candle lighting, because mom and dad and the siblings are the last to be up there, you want the whole family there with the young person. And on 3, we're going to blow out the candles and shout Mazel Tov. It's a nice way to get the candles out so you don't have a fire hazard. Okay. And finally, we get to what you really asked me about. I've been yammering for an hour, and here it is. Games. If you're looking for the kids to relate to you, obviously games are it. But keep in mind that while this is a yes/no answer to these games, maybe falls into the category often. And games that they say no to, they may want on the day of the event because their friends have asked for it. Okay. Or you may meet with Johnny and he says, all I want to do is play games. I'm not interested in dancing. Girls, ew, yeah, right? And then on the day of the event, all of Johnny's friends, all they want to do is dance. He doesn't want to play games anymore. He's going to dance with his friends. Okay. So you need to be prepared for both eventualities. Lots of games, lots of dancing, or a combination of the two. Okay. And the best games in some way do 2 things really well. One, they segue into the next moment.
Right.
And 2, they bring both the young people and the adults together. Because if you just play Johnny's music, the adults are bored. If you just play the adults' music, Johnny's bored. Okay. Yeah. And if you play a game and the adults are not involved, then same deal. So anytime you can have this connection is the magic moment for mitzvahs. So I'm always looking for that. Okay. There's always a moment that I have to take off my glasses, and it's to let you know that what I'm about to say is the most important thing of all. It means I'm not looking at my other screens. I'm right here with you, present in this moment to tell you the most. You betcha, baby. Here it comes. I'm going to use Steve as an example, okay? Because you're Steve. And Steve, it's your bar mitzvah. So I'm sitting down with you. We're planning the event, and I'm going to ask you point blank, Steve, who's having a bar mitzvah?
Steve.
Right. What is this day all about?
Becoming an adult.
Well, that's true, but it's who is this day all about?
Steve.
Correct. Why is everybody here?
For Steve.
Yes. What does everybody want to, where does everybody want to be?
They want to be right next to Steve.
Correct. And now the most important question of all, where is the party?
At Steve's?
That is correct.
Around Steve, yes.
That is correct. Now, they don't always get that. And sometimes you got to go through the list again. It's like, what is this day all about? Who is it for? Why is everybody there? Yada, yada. And the answer is always his name, or he might say me, okay, which is really good. But the bottom line is when you get to where the party's at, if he says the country club or the temple or the house or whatever, no, wrong answer. The party is where you are at. If you are on the dance floor, that's where the party's at. If you're sitting down with your friends, just joking and looking at your phones, that's where the party's at. If you're outside, in the car lot, doing something, whatever, joyride, that's where the party's at. Now, you're an entertainer, Steve. You can entertain the audience, but you can't go if Steve is not in the room.
Right.
He's got to be in the room, in the space. The wedding that I did, this last Saturday. I'm doing a whole presentation on the 10 lessons I learned from this particular wedding. And number one is just what I said. Where the bride and groom are is where the party's at. And if they're on the patio smoking, you can bet that's where the party's at.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's really important that he understands his responsibility to be present and share with everybody there, because that's what it's all about. Him. Okay. Do you know this game, 7-Up Pepsi Cola?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Not one I've seen you do before.
You might have, but I call it better or best. But they may know it as 7-Up Pepsi Cola, or they may know it as 7-Up Coke, or
Yeah.
any other, beverage, if you will. But I like to call it better or best. So I invite all of Johnny's friends to find a partner. 2 boys, 2 girls, boy and a girl, young people, adults, doesn't matter. Everybody's, friends today. Find a partner. Meet me right here on the dance floor. And you're going to line them up so that they're facing their partner. So you have one group of people on one side and then another group of people on the other side, and they're right next to one another facing each other. You with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. And then you make the Moses reference and you say, okay, we're going to have the parting of the Red Sea. Everybody on this side all the way to the edge of the dance floor, and everybody on this side to the edge of the dance floor. And now I want you to do the disco move and point to your partner, right? Disco move, point to your partner so that they don't lose track of who is there. Believe me, they do, because
Okay.
once you've separated them, they're like, where did he go? Where is she? Right in front of you. And that's, again, a reminder that they should be right in front of one another. Then you go over to Johnny and you ask Johnny, are you better or are you best? Okay.
Can you hold 1 second?
Sure.
My battery's down. Let me grab a cord.
That's funny. Okay. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back for our service messages from this sponsor, the Game Master. He's the guy that can get you fun and games for your next event. Unique, personalized, creative. That's the Game Master. How'd I do?
Very good. Okay. We're plugged in.
Okay. Well, flip your phone because you're a little bit on the, there you go. Thank you. Okay. So you've had the parting of the Red Sea. You walk up to Johnny and you ask him, Johnny, are you better or are you best? And you get to be Johnny. So tell me now, which one are you, better or best?
Better.
Better. Okay. That means you, Johnny, and everybody on your side of the room is better. And then I turn to the other side and I say, and that makes everybody on this side best. There's no win, by the way.
Yeah.
As you can gather here. Okay.
And I probably would have said best.
And that's fine too, because again, there's no right or wrong answer here.
Yeah.
Okay. So once they've determined what they are, then you explain. Each and every time that I say the word best, everybody on the best side runs over, shakes hands with their partner, and then runs back. And every time I say the word better, everybody on the better side runs over, shakes hands with their partner, and then runs back.
Okay.
So you better do this fast, because I'm looking to see who is best at this game. And they think that I'm still describing the game, when in fact, I've already said better and best several times. And then I'll look at them and say, what are you waiting for? Who's best at this? And then they get it. And then they run. Now, the object of this game is not to have a winner. I cannot emphasize that enough. The object of this game is not to have a winner. So often these games are played where you're losing people. Well, if you have 30 kids and you're whittling it down until you can get one person to win, then in the end, you'll have 28 people doing nothing and 2 people playing the game. And that does you no good. So a lot of the games that I play, oh, I've got your attention. Do you have a question, Steve?
No. I just was taking a break from
Okay.
writing.
All right. I just want to make sure that you follow what I'm saying. The object of most games is not to have a winner. The object of the game is just to play. And this particular game is really designed to wear them out. I mean, you just want to run them ragged. Better, best. Do you like my vest? How about best foods? I mean, never mind that. Let's get some mayonnaise going here. Whatever. Anything that you can get to rhyme with the words better and best and just go with it. And have them running ragged back and forth. Nobody's out. They're just playing. Okay. You can then have them meet in the middle with their partner and drop a banger, a dance song that gets them all just dancing. And now you're going to have a dance off. Now, are you really going to have a dance off? No, because that would require you to have people to get out. You just say it's a dance off and you play music. If they dance, well, guess what? Play a couple of dance songs. If they don't dance, if it looks like they're losing interest, then segue into something else. Record, right? Stop the music. Okay, everybody find an adult. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, mother, brother, sister, stranger, does not matter. Bring them to the dance floor. And then do something with them that is a game or a dance. I have this thing I call the crazy dance. I'll send you a copy.
Okay.
Do you know the crazy dance?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. The crazy dance is snippets of songs that are popular from different decades and different generations. So you'll get everything from the waltz to the electric slide to disco dancing to show me, all kinds of crazy stuff. And you explain, young people, you need to show the adults how to do these dances. And adults, you need to show the kids how to do these old folky dances. Okay. It's 3 minutes of nonsense. Okay. But they'll play and they'll dance. And then you move into more stuff. Okay. Bunny hop. If I have to just explain what the bunny hop is, we're really in trouble. Chicken dance, the same thing. Conga line, you've already done that to the buffet line, but don't be shy. Just because Johnny got to do the conga doesn't mean that the adults don't want to do one too. It's a popular thing. Dance contest. I stray away from anything that's really a win-lose arrangement, but I like to check because if they're dancers and they want to do something, I would turn it into a Dancing with the Stars moment. And I have a whole routine about that. Drinking contest, this is hysterically funny. You need to let the parents know these names are specifically designed to elicit a response, okay? But the drinking contest is simply, Johnny, you and 12 of your best friends go find an adult partner. I use 12 as an example. It might be 6, it could be 24. It's whatever you want to play with. But in this case, it's an even dozen, and they have adult partners. And the kids are on one side, and the adults are on the other. They're facing each other, just like before with the 7-Up, Pepsi-Cola, Better Best dance, but they're now lined up. This is the official drinking contest. We are about to find out which one of these adults can drink the fastest. And the beverage and the bottle are what are most important. And then I do the unveil, the reveal, the big reveal, right? Which is a napkin that's covering the bottles, baby bottles, that is. Okay. And there's about maybe an ounce of Sprite in these bottles. The bottles could be big or tall. It does not matter. Trust me. 1 ounce is all you need. It's going to take them forever to get that thing sucked down. Okay. And the kids serve the adults, and the kids just roll up laughing. They just think this thing is hysterical. And you're not done until I have an empty bottle and a burp. So now you're going around with the microphone and, and again, depending on the maturity level of the audience, you might get away with don't bite the nipple.
Okay. Yeah.
But you got to be careful with that phrase. Right. So enough said. Freeze dance is just like it sounds. Music's playing, stop the music, everybody stops. Okay. And if they fall over, then they become a judge. Okay. There's also, it's coming up. Okay. Game show musical chairs. You probably know this as scavenger hunt. Do you know this game?
Yes. Well, I've seen you do that before.
Okay, fun game. I actually have a whole hour, the diatribe as to how to play that game on a video. I'm moving on. Hand jive, very old school, but if they happen to be Grease fans, they'll know this. Hokey pokey, huggy bear. Huggy bear is similar to the freeze dance. You can actually roll them right into one another. Either order works fine, but no partners necessary. Everybody's dancing. Get the kids to bring out adults to play with them in this dance at the same time. And when the music stops, you shout a number, and the number is 5. So everybody needs to get into groups of 5. Okay. If you're a group of 4, we'll deal with you folks later. You don't know how to count. You need a 5. Okay. Music's playing again. Again, I'm not looking for people to be in or out. I'm just looking to garner their attention and play a game. And a lot of times these things are not the whole song, but just boom, 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 we're running. Okay. But the best group number is 1, because they always get a laugh at that, because, oh, I don't need anybody. It's just me.
Right.
And if you want to get really fun, then do a group of 50, and all of a sudden, they're on the dance and they're all counting 1, 2, 3, no, 6, 9, 30, fun stuff.
Cool. Yeah.
Hula hoops. There are 1,000 games with hula hoops. Also, if you don't have the book, use your noodle. You could do a whole bar mitzvah day of games with noodles and never play any of these other games, and they would be equally entertained. If you know what the noodles are, the pool noodles.
Yes.
Okay.
Oddly enough, my son is a youth pastor in Bristol, Tennessee, so we have a lot of noodles.
Well, there you go. There is a game book called Use Your Noodle, and there's like 2 or 3 versions of it, and tons of games. Go have fun with it. Human Scrabble, it's too complicated. I'm going to move on. Lip sync and karaoke. If they're doing karaoke, see, earlier when we were doing their top 10 and we were finding out, do they sing, do they play an instrument, are they in a band? Those are cues that things like lip syncing or karaoke would be popular with them. If not, move on, because otherwise it's like a yawner. Okay, limbo, again, you can't go wrong with limbo. It's fun. But you can, I don't know if musical chairs is on here, but I do a version of musical chairs that's different than the traditional, chairs. Everybody that's out in a musical chair game is actually in. And what I mean by that is they take on another role. They're a judge, they're a blockade, they're holding a prop that they have to go under or over or through, just a whole myriad of different things that everybody is actually involved, even though they've lost the chairs. So as the chairs are getting fewer, I have more people doing all this crazy stuff as people are trying to find their chairs. So I don't lose anybody.
Gotcha.
We keep playing. Okay. And the same thing with limbo. If you've got like this really long line and people are just standing there getting bored, waiting for their turn to go into the limbo bar, that means you should have had 3 limbo bars.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can do that if the group is large enough. Line dances. Okay. I know you know all the usual stuff, the Cupid shuffle, the cha-cha slide, and the nay-nay and all this stuff. Okay, fine. Or wobble baby, wobble. Okay, good. How about the Bobby bounce? Now I use the alliterative there. It could be the Rachel romp. It could be the Steve's shortcut to something, or the surfer dude Steve, or whatever you want to call it. But it's
something to associate the name to it.
Right. And it's a dance routine that you choreograph that premieres on the night of their event that is just for them. Huh? Okay.
And how do I choreograph it?
I thought you'd never ask. Okay. Earlier, I mentioned about how they sometimes do a dress rehearsal the day before or a couple of days before. Well, that's a good day that you're already out doing something with them. So when and that thing usually happens like, mid-afternoon after school. So now you're going to invite Bobby and all of his friends, not all of his friends, but a handful of his best friends, boys and girls, to the house, his house, not your house, for a pizza party. Mom pays for the pizza. You show up with a boombox, or speaker or whatever, and the song that Bobby has selected, and you're now going to teach them this dance routine. But you know what? You don't have to be some fancy choreographer. You don't have to be Paula Abdul to make this moment happen. All you need to do is ask key people who are outgoing, energetic, vibrant, like most of us DJs, right? When you're on the dance floor, what's your favorite mood? What's that move that you do when you're in the groove, you're in the mood, and you're really, you're happening right now? I mean, that is slap, which is a word that they would use. Okay. What does that move look like? And so they'll show you this funky thing or this twist thing or this, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You're now going to turn that move into a four beat, 4-step time. Then you go to the next person and you ask them, what is your favorite move? And you do this 4 times, preferably 2 boys, 2 girls, so that you get some, gender differences here. And then you have 4 moves that become a 4-wall dance routine, just like the electric slide. And that's the Bobby Bounce.
Okay.
Okay. Mummy, I think you know this. It's with toilet paper. Do I need to go any further?
They run, get toilet paper and wrap them up.
Right.
Or do I bring the toilet paper?
You bring the toilet paper.
Okay.
This will be a prop that you bring. And then the best way to wrap this game up, no pun intended, is to have the ecology game afterwards. You're looking for the largest, biggest white wadded toilet paper, and you've already got a trash can waiting for it. And so they're all collecting and picking it up and dropping it in so that you have a clean space for what is going to be your next game or next dance routine or whatever. I like when kids wrap adults or adults wrap kids. I don't really like for kids to wrap kids. It's not as fun because, again, you're looking for that marriage thing. Mummy, musical boys, if it's a bar mitzvah, you're not going to get to do this. It's really a girl thing, so I'm moving on. Numbers, they would have to be really, really analytical. I mean, like nerd city. If they said math was their theme, call me back and I'll tell you what the numbers game is. Because it's a fun game, but it's really for the nerd. Okay. Stackers is incredibly funny, incredibly fun, and best of all, it's a huge time taker, and also interactive for the audience to watch. And it's simple and easy to play. You invite Johnny and all of his friends to bring a chair to the dance floor, and you make a circle with the chairs on the dance floor. Excuse me. And the chairs face out so that the chairs are facing the audience. Okay. So if we were in the chairs, our backs would be to each other in the circle, and we would be seeing the audience, which means mom and dad and everybody see our shiny faces. Okay. The object of the game is to return to your original chair. So put something that is yours under your chair. Your shoe, your phone, your purse, not your wallet, but something. Put it under the chair so you know that's your chair. Okay. Now, everybody who is breathing, stand up and move one chair to the right. Well, that's everybody. So they all stand up and they move one chair to the right, and then they sit back down in the chair that is now one away from where they started. You with me, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably the only time that everyone is going to be moving at the same time. From this moment, you're going to now ask for different things that only some people have, so that only some people move. So, real easy, we start with gender. All the boys move one chair to the left. So, because there's somebody sitting in the chair, that means they have to sit on that person's lap. And if it's one person sitting on one person's lap, then that is a 1 stack. And again, you remind them that the object is to get to their original chair. But I will tell you that the object is to make the biggest stack possible.
Gotcha.
And preferably with Johnny at the bottom. Okay. So you'll get, oh, boys, girls, sit on her lap. No, I can't do that kind of thing. Just roll with it. If you're wearing blue, if you're wearing red, do you have a watch? Do you have a skirt? Do you have shoes or sandals? Or do you have something that you wear in your hair? Is your hair blue? Is your hair, all these different things, people move, okay? And they're all getting closer to their original chair. You can even move stacks. All the 3 stacks move to the biggest stack next to you, right? Well, now all of a sudden you're really stacking them up, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you do. And so eventually nobody's sitting in a chair and they're all sitting in this one big long stack. It's a great photo op. It's a lot of fun. And then you can turn around. You got the chairs on the dance floor. Now you can play game show musical chairs. Boom,
Cool.
just like that. Okay. Again, segueing from one game to the next.
Yeah.
Stuff It. That's the balloon and the big T-shirt thing. Do you know this?
Don't think so.
Okay. Get a bag of balloons.
A little refreshment.
Okay, a little bag of balloons and a bag of balloons for the 2 teams, for the 2 smallest people, and then you put this big, huge T-shirt on this little kid. And the object is to blow up the balloons, knot them, and then stuff them. Now, a lot of people will already have the balloons already blown up and stuffed, blown up and knotted, and so now all they got to do is stuff the thing, but then the game is over too fast. Yeah. I like to see them blow them up. Well, I can't knot it. Well, go find an adult. Oh, now see, we got adults involved. So that kind of thing is going on. But suffice to say, they end up looking like the Michelin Man with these T-shirts and the balloons inside. John Ross likes to pop the balloons. A little too dangerous for my taste. I just, say, let's have a dance off between the 2 Michelin people. And I'll play a song and everybody gets dancing with them and the moment's over. Or the balloons start flopping all over the place and they're doing the little bounce thing with the balloons in the air and all that. And now you're off to the races because you can play some dance music. They're playing with the balloons and they're all distracted. The adults get involved. It's a win-win-win. The clothes race. The clothes race is also known as the get naked race. Again, know your audience. But this game, you have 2 stacks of really big stuff, clothes, oversized stuff, 3X, 10X, whatever you can find. T-shirts, shorts, hat, funny shoes, a guitar, lays, anything that you can think of, big glasses, right? Okay, and they have to run to this stack of stuff. You have 2 stacks, so 2 teams. It could be boys versus girls or kids versus adults, any way you want to do it. They run, they put the stack, the stuff on, and then they have to take a selfie with it that they have to text to you, which connects you with them so that you can say thank you. And you now have content for the screen. Okay, so they have to take a selfie, and then this is the get naked part. They have to take it all off. Keep your original clothes on. Okay, and then the next person, and it's a relay race until they finish. Fun stuff. Okay, the kissing game is no kissing involved. It's simply plastic spoon and Hershey's Kisses. And the one kiss goes in the spoon and the handle of the spoon goes in their mouth, and they have to pass the kiss from spoon to the next person. Okay. You can do boy, girl, which makes it a little bit more fun. But if you're getting a lot of resistance for boy, girl, just let them figure it out. And it's all boys or all girls. It doesn't matter. Spoon race, time warp, word association, just more games. But I think you've got enough here to get yourself going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Hour and a half. Are you okay? I mean, I was pretty long-winded here.
Oh, I'm fine. I hope I didn't keep you longer than I was supposed to.
That's okay. I'm going to get off to my next one. I actually have an event tonight.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, Scott, I appreciate this so much.
Well, it's truly my pleasure. I hope it's been helpful. And if you have additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out as you did. I will probably tomorrow morning after this video compiles. I'll send it to you along with the link to all the things that I referenced.
Sweet. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Excellent. Mazel tov, my friend.
Shaboom. Shalom.
Shalom. There you go.